Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sure you're aware of the GAO report that recently came out of you all. Has that been discussed? It's not very encouraging. It indicates a deterioration in cost performance and on-time launch performance. Are you aware of this report? Have you seen this?
Yes.
What do we do about it?
One of the things that's very important is to learn from all of our experiences at NASA and at Goddard in particular. We have the opportunity to work with many different organizations and accomplish many different missions. One of the things that I did as chief engineer and continued on while I was in other positions was to go off and look and understand why our missions didn't perform quite as well as we would like in terms of cost and schedule. Technically, they have met their objectives and done that very well. We developed some guidelines for missions to follow, and since we adapted those guidelines, most of the science missions at the Goddard Space Flight Center have in fact performed at or better than expected. So it's the lessons learned that are absolutely critical to take forward.
Are you open to cooperating with GAO and including their people in your analysis and reports on what you're doing? I think GAO is an important asset.
Absolutely, and in fact, when I mentioned the study we did, we relied heavily on GAO's reports from the past and at that time current reports, and we continue to look at those and take those extremely seriously.
You have tremendous experience, there's no doubt about that, and your background is exceptional for this position. On the other hand, one of the differences is that NASA is a wholly civilian, sort of on its own timeline. I haven't heard, I'm about to use a phrase I haven't heard in a long time, space race. We're now in a space race. And it's a race not only in terms of getting hardware up there, but what the hardware is and what it can do and what the capabilities are. This is not an academic research exercise. This is a very serious national security question. Are you prepared to make the switch from NASA to NRO in terms of the orientation toward the urgency of this enterprise?
Absolutely. At Goddard, we also have participated in national security. We support the NOAA and the USGS in providing the weather satellites and the environmental satellites that our nation relies on to not only predict the weather but to predict severe storms. And I recognize that the NRO is a different mission, but it's similar to what we have done at NASA, and if confirmed, I believe I can shift over to the requirements and responsibilities of the NRO.
At Goddard and NASA, were you involved in the sort of discussion, but as between larger satellites, smaller satellites? Do you feel that smaller satellites is an important direction that we have to go in terms of both speed of deployment, resiliency, and all those things? Give me your thoughts on small versus large in space.
Absolutely. I believe that there's room for all types of satellites, and small satellites certainly play an important role. They are satellites that we can develop quicker, to identify to mature technologies and demonstrate capabilities at a higher pace than you can with larger satellites. At the same time, we have to recognize that there are physics may determine the size of a satellite, but certainly smaller satellites are something that are critical. They can improve, as I said, our ability to address technologies, to demonstrate capabilities, to enhance our resilience, to get capabilities up there sooner. And we have utilized those at NASA, and if confirmed, I would bring that same intention to the National Reconnaissance Office.
Two points, and my time is about to run out. One is the importance of close communication and collaboration with NGA. to be sure that we're doing what they need in terms of their being the customer and their ultimate customers in the intelligence community. I think that's incredibly important. And I think the word for the future is going to be resiliency. And I think that's got to be a top-of-mind consideration in all of our future space endeavors based upon what we know is happening out in the competitive world. I hope you'll bear that in mind.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.